What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Fireside Giants. I'm your host, Anthony Rivardo, joined by my co-host, Alex Wilson, who's over in Israel right now, but we're going to talk about New York Giants anyway. The grind doesn't stop no matter where Fireside Giants is located. We are going to talk about the New York Giants, and today we want to talk about a potential position battle that might be brewing on the New York Giants offensive line. Now, we know left tackle set in stone. Andrew Thomas, right tackle. Evan Neal, center. John Michael Schmitz, super excited about that. Right guard, probably Mark Lewinsky, but what the heck is happening over at that left guard spot? Now, we believe that there's a potential position battle brewing there between Ben Bredeson and Joshua Zito, so we want to go ahead and dive into that in today's episode and discuss who we think could take that starting spot. But before we do, make sure to leave a like if you do enjoy this episode. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Ring the bell so you don't miss an episode. Comment your thoughts on the topic down below. And if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, please make sure to leave us a 5-star review. But without further ado, Alex, how are you doing today, my friend? And what are your thoughts on the position battle at left guard?
I'm doing good, my friends, and if you can't tell already, I have Gucci bags under my eyes. I haven't slept in like 24 hours, but we're still pushing through because, as you guys know, got to talk about the left guard position for the New York Giants. Nothing's going to stop us from talking about left guard for the New York Football Giants. And of course, you mentioned Josh Azudu, you mentioned Ben Bredeson. Shane Lemieux, I'd probably take him out of the conversation at this point. I think we can kind of move beyond our faith and confidence in Shane Lemieux. I know a lot of people have liked him in the past, but that ship has sailed, in my opinion. I think we're looking at Azudu, and I think we're looking at Ben Bredeson as our primary options and competitors for this starting left guard spot. And you know what? Marcus McKethan, don't forget about him either, coming off the ACL tear. Can play a couple different spots on this offensive line. He'll be competing as well. The Giants do have a little bit of talent there. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that they have a legitimate starter at left guard, but I'll tell you this. If there's any position you want to kind of supplement with average to, kind of spot starters, it's the guard spots. You don't want to be utilizing that same strategy when it comes to tackle. And now we got our center in JMS. So we feel pretty confident about that. And we're hopeful that Evan Neal can take a big step forward as well. But, looking at Josh Azudu, let's talk about him first. Because I think that he definitely has the most upside of any of the guys that are going to be competing for that spot right now. Last year, he didn't play that much. Now, he got injured. He had a neck injury, which definitely hurt his development and growth. He only played like 9 games, 10 games, 290 total snaps. He gave up 3 sacks and 15 total pressures. He also had 3 penalties. So, you're looking at what he did. His best game probably against Chicago, but he didn't play that much. The most snaps of any game he played was 69 against Houston in Week 10. He had decent grades. He gave up 1 pressure, so not overall bad at all. But Josh Azudu, as we know, has good hands, really good feet. They're really fast, right? He's efficient and he's really quick with them, but he's only 23 years old. So keep that in mind. He's really young. For a 6'4", 308-pound human being to be 23 years old, you have to sit here and kind of make the argument that he hasn't even touched his potential yet. He hasn't even sniffed what he's capable of. If he can stay healthy, I'd love to see him get consistent reps. But I do love his athleticism. I think as a run blocker, he can be solid, slightly above average early in his career. As a pass blocker, I think it's going to take him a little bit of time, but I feel confident that with more opportunity, more experience, especially with John Michael Schmitz and then Andrew Thomas opposite sides of him, he's going to be in good shape in terms of his support. Josh Azudu, he's not going to have to fight on an island all the time. He's going to have really smart players alongside him, guys that will help pick up the slack. And I think that will help him and aid him in his development and growth. So, Anthony, when you're looking at Josh Azudu, do you think that he is the long-term solution to left guard? Do you think that Ben Bredeson, who's actually been pretty decent when he's been available the last year or so, do you think that maybe he wins this job out of camp?
If you're asking me the long-term solution, I don't think the long-term solution for the Giants left guard spot is necessarily on this roster. Now, if I had to pick anybody on the roster, I am going to go with Joshua Zito, 3rd-round pick last year, a young guy with a lot of potential, big mauler in the running game. But if you're looking at it from the perspective of he had a very up-and-down, injury-riddled rookie season, and you know what? He's not going to prevent you from drafting anybody if you have a good draft pick next year and a guard is on the board. I do think that there's an opportunity down the road for the Giants to add more talent to that left guard spot and maybe find a starter at some other point, maybe in the 2024 NFL draft. But if we're talking about this upcoming season, which is obviously the main focus right now, not focused on next offseason, but if you're looking at this upcoming season, Ben Bredeson, Joshua Zito, well, you can go with a guy who's a little bit more experienced, or you can go with a guy who has a lot more potential. Now, I think that that the Giants are in a position right now where they don't need to bank on potential. They don't need to wait for some young guy to just kind of come onto the scene and start playing better. I think that they have a good enough team to go out there, win now, try and compete. The schedule is really tough this year, but keep in mind the Giants are coming off of a season where they did win a playoff game. The expectations are high, so I think going with the more established member of your roster here in Ben Bredesen is likely going to be the safe move. Now, again, he only let up 12 pressures, as you mentioned, compared to Joshua Zedu's 15 pressures, and he played double the snaps compared to Zedu. So think about it from that perspective. In double the snaps, he let up less pressures and less sacks. He didn't let up a single sack. Zedu let up 3. So I think that Ben Bredesen proved last year that he's more than capable of starting at left guard. Is he a dominant force? Is he the Andrew Thomas of left guards? Absolutely freaking not. Is he a high quality top tier starter? No, but he's at least an average left guard who you can get by with. Now, I'm not saying that Joshua Zedu can't be that. Maybe he definitely very well could be, right? He could be a starting left guard. But he also could crash and burn entering his second season, coming off of an injury-riddled rookie season where he didn't get enough playing time. And that's kind of what scares me about Joshua Zedu. Again, I really like the potential there. I like what he brings to the table, but his lack of experience does give me some angst. And it does make me fear, what if he's not fully ready come the regular season? And again, that's going to be something that, tying it into the beginning of this episode where we call this a position battle, that's going to be something determined in training camp. I think it's really going to come down to who plays better throughout the summer. Like if we go into preseason and Joshua Zedu starts 3 games in the preseason, lets up 0 sacks and just dominates everybody in front of him, all right, let's roll with him. I'm good. Let's go. But if he struggles a little bit here and there and Ben Bredesen looks like he's just the more experienced player, just go with the more experienced player. But that's kind of my take on it. But Alex, are you willing to bank on the potential of a guy like Joshua Zedu just because you know that he could be something great? You've got the potential there. So are you willing to risk it, potentially put this guy on the field who might struggle at times, but eventually it'll click and he could become a long-term starter? Or would you rather just have the safe bet, get your average starter for this upcoming season, and hopefully he can help you win some games in Ben Bredesen?
I mean, look, I think you can get by with average guard play in the NFL, and the reality is the Giants have really struggled when it comes to mid-round picks in the past couple years, right? Eventually we're going to need someone to pen out. Eventually we're going to need a guy to step up and actually show third, fourth, fifth round pick that they can actually make an impact on this team and become starters. You know what I mean? And we have the coaching staff to do it. There's nothing in my mind that you can't convince me that Josh Azudu cannot become a competent starter for the Giants because our coaching staff is phenomenal. He's got the qualities to do it. He's a good athlete. He's young. He's a good run blocker already coming out of UNC, and he has a lot of potential as a pass protector. I think it just needs experience and time. And unfortunately, he wasn't able to get as much as we had hoped in his rookie season because of the injuries. But again, Ben Bredesen, he's not that bad. Like people overlook Ben Bredesen, but he has much better grades than Azudu did last year. And I think more so like right now, if I'm the Giants, I'm going with the player that's going to give us the best offensive line in 2023. And I'm not going to subject myself to suffering through bad left guard play because we are hoping that Josh Azudu performs. I mean, at the end of the day, we need good play right now because we just extended Daniel Jones. We went and got Darren Waller. We went and got all these players. We need to be winning and competing right now. We need to be putting our best foot forward. We can't be like surviving at all these spots all the time. So I think you go with the best hand. You don't, just sacrifice it because Azudu needs more experience. If Josh Azudu wins it outright, absolutely. Let him go and struggle a little bit, have some inconsistencies and develop his game. But if Ben Bredesen wins that job, all more to him. Like, let him take that spot and run with it because ultimately Daniel Jones needs to be protected. You got to protect your franchise quarterback. You got to protect your investment. And you got to allow the passing game to develop. The better the pocket is for Daniel Jones, the better the passing game is going to be, the less likely injuries are going to happen to some of your key players like Daniel Jones, for example, like Saquon Barkley, who you have to lean on considerably if your passing game isn't good enough. You know what I mean? So right now, I feel like you go with the hot hand. You go with the guy that's going to, show up in training camp. And that could very much be Azudu. And I would be very happy with that because ultimately we want those mid-round picks to pan out. And he has 3 more years left on his rookie deal. And that ultimately is extremely efficient because of the cost effective nature of that contract. And Ben Bredesen, while he's still extremely cheap, you're going to have to extend him year over year to keep him around. Whereas Azudu is making next to nothing for the next 3 seasons and keeps the salary cap hit very low. And you can go out and get another player, or you just keep Ben Bredesen around as a supplementary piece who can play both guard spots and fill in at center if need be. So, I like how the Giants are doing this. I like how they invested a lot in the offensive line. Of course, center You went and you spent as much money as possible on right guard with Glowinski last offseason. You go and you spend a top 10 pick on Evan Neal, and then you just figure it out at left guard. Not every single pick can be a high profile free agent, or every starter rather be a high profile free agent or a top 10, top 15 pick in the NFL draft. You need those mid round guys to pan out sometimes. I mean, for goodness sake, look at the guy we just interviewed, Bobby Okereke. He was a third round pick. You know what I mean? Like these guys, you have to find good value there. You have to develop them into competent players, if not above average sometimes. The Giants have been one of the worst teams in football at doing just that. So Zudu, I love his tangible traits. I think he's a good dude. I think he's really smart. And I love the Giants to continue developing him. But with that being said, if Ben Bredeson wins that left guard job outright, you give him the job because you want to protect your other investments.
Yeah, sounds like we're in the same boat here. I completely agree with you. I'm not forcing Azidu into the lineup by any means just because I want him to get playing time. I think whoever plays better throughout the training camp wins the job, but ultimately, I'm expecting Ben Bredeson to win the job, and I do think that he's the safe pick here. I'm not trying to risk any games, risk any valuable moments in the regular season just based on the fact that I want to develop a second-year player. That's just the way that I look at it, and I know probably many of you agree. Maybe many of you do disagree. Maybe some of you still want Shane Lemieux to win the job. I will just put a nail in that coffin real quick because I have to, because I'm so sick of hearing about Shane Lemieux every year. But listen, 39 offensive snaps for Shane Lemieux last year, 1 sack allowed and 5 pressures. How did he allow more sacks on the season in 39 snaps than Ben Bredeson did in 353 total pass blocking snaps, 620 total snaps? So there you go. I'm going with Ben Bredeson or Joshua Azidu, and I do think that Ben Bredeson is going to take the job. But again, it's going to be really exciting to see who wins this battle throughout OTAs, training camp, and preseason. It's a long ways between now and the start of the 2023 regular season, but I cannot wait. And of course, we're going to continue to keep you updated right here on Fireside Giants. So make sure to subscribe to the channel if you are new. Ring the bell so you don't miss an episode. Leave a like if you enjoyed this episode and comment your thoughts down below. And if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, please make sure to leave us a 5-star review. But without further ado, we will catch you all in the next one. Have a good one, and let's go Giants.